What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome everybody to another Q&A. This is your host Erick, Landon RPG. Today is gonna be a regular, boring ass Q&A, extremely special, and then we're gonna do a couple of videos, small videos, not big videos like the ones we've done before. Full of picks, your picks and my picks and stuff like that. We're not gonna do that today. This is gonna be very, very different, and it's gonna depend on a specific poll. But I'll just wait for more people to join the Q&A so we can start and I can explain what the hell is going on. Hello guys, thanks for joining. As always, we're getting a massive delay. No, not really. Like I'm saying something and I'm gonna count again. Like it's okay. So your favorite RPG is our Final Fantasy X and the new Final Fantasy VII? Our? Yeah, I guess the game is ours, right? It's everyone's game. Everyone's Final Fantasy X. You play the original Final Fantasy VII or the remake version of it? Which one did you play? Which one did you play, man? OG FF7 or remake or Tetsuya Nomura's FF7? Just waiting. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. 20 seconds. Hello? Can you guys even hear me? What's your favorite soundtrack in a JRPG? Chrono Cross. Easy. What's up, everybody? I can't believe this fucking thing. I can't believe it. You know, I say something and you get like 30 seconds later. This sucks. Why is it like that? Concurrent viewers? Was good connection? What the hell? No one's getting notified of this, as always. They always get notified like half an hour later. Well, I guess everybody in suspense, like, whoa, one damn Q&A and two damn videos, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I know nobody gives shit, but for the very few people who give a shit, be patient, you're gonna have to wait until more people join, because I don't know what's going on right now. Notification system for this channel, fucked up. Subscriber rate, fucked up. Views, algorithm, subscriber rate. Did I say that already? Yeah, fucked up. This is Rival Schools. Anybody a fan of Rival Schools? Anybody a fan of Rival Schools? That's a fighting game on the PlayStation 1. Well, originally came out in arcades, but it got a release on the PlayStation 1. Pretty fun game. Good fighting game. Are you a fan of platformers? I'd love to see a new Jack game for PS5. Ratchet Rift Apart was good though. I'm a fan of platformers, and I am a fan of a very few 3D platformers, but I'm a bigger fan of 2D platformers, because those are the ones I grew up with, and I think platforming in 2D is perfect, but in 3D is very difficult, and I don't have a lot of depth vision, or sometimes I can't calculate my distance well enough, and even though I make the jumps correctly, I fall to my death quite often. Nayuta, I'm looking at you, Nayuta, the Legend of Nayuta. Fucking game, man. I'm a terrible platformer in 3D. That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks, man. But in 2D, I'm pretty damn decent. I love environmental puzzles in 2D, but I also grew up with the Mario games and a lot of side-scrollers, like the Castlevania games, Ninja fucking Gaiden. I come from that era. Um, One of my favorite platformers, Super Mario World, is probably my favorite. I know it's a cliched answer, but not gonna lie. Yeah, Mario 3 is up there. Shantae Half Genie Hero is one of my favorites of all time. Love it. I guess Little Nightmares 1 and 2, there's barely any platforming, but there is, you know. I played one, Rayman Legends. Rayman Legends on the PS4. What a blast. That's a phenomenal game. It's kind of frustrating, but you got like infinite continues and it's good. How's the music? Pretty damn loud, huh? As it should be. This game is fantastic, people. Lost Judgment. Ever tried Donkey Kong Country? I played Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 and 3. All three on the Super Nintendo. And I played one called Land on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I only finished the first one. Never finished the second one. It's just fucking hardcore, man. It's very, very, very hard. And the Game Boy, for some reason, I don't remember if I ever beat it. I don't think so, because it was borrowed. I had to give it back. I think we owned that game, and then we traded the game for Killer Instinct also on the Game Boy. You know, and we kept Killer Instinct. You know, we never saw Donkey Kong Land again. You're missing some great platformers for PS5 and PS4. Okay. Have you played Rayman Origins? Nope. I played Legends. And Legends includes some platforming elements. I mean, some Origins elements. I mean, you unlock certain stages that are from Origins, you know, and I played through some of those, but I've never actually played Origins. I've owned it back when I had a store, but I haven't played it. I never played it. Donkey Kong Country was such a pain in the ass, it was. Finally, Octopath Traveler 1 is on the PlayStation Store after 6 years. Bravo, Square Enix. It took you 6 years to realize people wanted that game on the PlayStation, huh? That was so damn smart. I mean, what was the problem there? The game was released initially as an exclusive on Nintendo systems. Fine. On the Switch, exclusive to the Switch. Then it got ported to Steam. And then eventually to Xbox, and everybody was like, why are you choosing the less obvious systems? Why not port it to PlayStation 4 and or 5? What's going on in there? Years went by, no one gave a damn in Square Enix. The world gave a damn, but Square Enix didn't give two shits about it. I was like, nah, I'll just focus on Octopath Traveler 2. And once the game is a year old, maybe a year and a half, and it's got enough fans, and we've made enough money, maybe, if we feel like it, we'll port Octopath Traveler to PlayStation consoles. Something we should have done from the beginning, but, you know, fuck the fans, right? I mean, who gives a shit about the fans? I only care about what the exclusive deals, the bureaucracy of release dates and shit, no. But pleasing the fans? What the hell, man? That's not in our policies and our guidelines, you know. Giving the fans what they want? No way, Jose! I'm Square Enix, I'm arrogant, and I treat customers like shit. So that's what they did. But eventually, 6 years later, you know, we're like, oh, it's been 6 years. People aren't bitching about this anymore because they gave up. So let's release Octopath Traveler on PlayStation consoles. Now that it's too fucking late. No, I'm kidding, it's never too late to do this, but I don't think the sales are gonna be that high. Because that's a 2018 game. And this version is not a remaster or anything, it's just a release. Not even a port. No, it's just a release. It's just, oh, here's the game for PS4 and PS5. That's right, Square Enix. We love you too. Anyway, thank you. Go fuck yourselves as always, but thank you. You made us wait 6 years. You made fans wait 6 years. Now, are you guys gonna get the game? I'm not. I'm fine with the Switch version. If it was like a big difference, you know, between the Switch and PlayStation versions, I know there's gonna be a graphical difference, right? but the game looks freaking beautiful on the Switch. It performs excellently on the Switch. It's badass in there. No problems, no frame rate issues, no resolution issues. It just looks perfect on the Switch. Didn't even need to be on Xbox, but it's there if you care enough. So, no, I'm not gonna play this. No. I am not buying your game again, Square Enix. Especially not if it's only digital. Is it getting a physical release? Well, bravo, Square Enix. It only took you 6 years to please the fans that you care nothing about. David Wise, the composer of Donkey Kong, huh? Great composer. Hey, Inane Dreams. What's your top 5 non-RPG games you spend a lot of hours playing? Plants vs. Zombies, Worms Open Warfare, Super Mario World. Well, when I was little, Mortal Kombat Ultimate. Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate. And also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4. Turtles in Time. Or perhaps, you know, okay, so maybe International Superstar Soccer. The only sports game I actually like. So I play a crap ton of it with my family, with my sister. Crash Bash. Always play the heck out of it with my sister whenever she comes over. I think my bottle needs to be replaced. Damn. It's dripping. There's a hole in it, I believe so. Yeah. So that's my top 8. Maybe I have enough for a top 10, huh? Little Nightmares, the first one. Have you played Little Town Hero? No. I know the game. I know it's... I don't know if it's got a physical release, but I know the game on PS4 and Switch. I know the game, but I haven't played it, never. Trails into Reverie is a crossover of everything. It's the ultimate fan service game. In all sense of the word. Maybe there's better fan service games out there, I know that, but it's the ultimate fan service game, you know, because it gets characters from every single Trails game. Not every single one of them is here, and not every single one of the ones that are here are playable, but, you know, it's got a large cast. You got over 30 or 40 characters, man, across the series as playable characters. That's awesome, man. I love Trails into Reverie. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's an excellent game. Very recommended for fans of the series. But it's the last one of its kind. It's the last episode. It's pretty much episodes, so there's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, so that makes 5, 4. It's episode 10 of the Trail series. You need to play 9 games before getting into Reverie. 10th game, that's right. Nayuta doesn't count. The regular battle theme when you control Kiryu in Yakuza. You people need to get more into the Yakuza series. I've gotten myself into the Yakuza series. I'm currently playing the very first one. Remade on the PlayStation 4. It's called Kiwami. Loving it. Loving it, man. I'm a big fan. I have to declare myself now a big fan of the Yakuza series. I will continue playing through the rest of the series eventually. So... should I make a video one of these days? How to get into the Yakuza series, where to start, something like that, maybe? I don't think it's gonna get a lot of views. It's hard to get people into this series. It's hard to get JRPG gamers into Yakuza. You know, because this is a series that's popular and it's sold millions worldwide, especially the last 2 RPGs. But I feel like they cater to a different audience. Even though they're RPGs, they're basically JRPGs. They don't. I mean, a lot of people don't care about the series because they don't. They aren't done in an anime or manga style, and they don't give a damn. I think maybe they aren't visually appealing to them, and they're also like, oh man, they spoil. They already know it's like the Trail series. They spoil the series to you, especially Infinite Wealth. So they're all like, oh, I need to play the others, but the others aren't RPGs. They have strong RPG elements though, but no, they're not RPGs. Now that I'm playing through Kiwami, which is a remake of the first game on the originally released on PS2. No, that's not an RPG. Sure, you have a skill tree. You earn experience that you exchange for points. Well, you get points to increase or learn new abilities, you know, and you equip weapons and accessories, you know, but that's your average equipment system and skill tree system in every single video game nowadays. Even sports games have a skill tree. Car racing games have a skill. Shoot 'em ups. Tetris has a skill. No, it doesn't, but it will. Mark my words. Or maybe there's a Tetris, I don't know, out there with an equipment system and a frogman. Every single video game has RPG elements. But no, I wouldn't call this an RPG. The first Yakuza. So I guess people, when they look at the series, are like, man, I played Yakuza Like a Dragon and I want to play the others, but oh man, I heard Infinite Wealth spoils the heck out of you. Yes, it does. And if I go back to the series, I mean, there's just like 7 games if you count 0, 2 more if you count the spin-offs, and then there's Gaiden, there's Ishin, and it's Trails, Kiseki all over again. I get that. But still, I think it's my job as a new fan. I mean, I've been a fan for years, but I didn't become a hardcore fan. So I'm the kind of person who believes in becoming a fan after a few games. I'm not just, you know, there's a lot of people out there like, oh, I love Persona, I'm a big fan of the Persona series, but I've only played 5. Oh, you're a big fan of the Persona series, but you've never played any of the first games, or 3 or 4, just 5, and you're a fan. Yeah, I don't mean to sound like an elitist or anything of the sort, but playing just one game in the series doesn't exactly make you a fan. That's just how I feel, though, you know, if you declare yourself a fan after playing just one game in the entire series. Okay, dude, I respect your opinion. But yeah, I'm that type of person who needs to play like 2 or 3 games before I can say, you know, oh, now I'm a fan. So now that I've played 3 games, I'm a fan. And I will continue playing the others, and I'll become an even bigger fan. They're often on sale, by the way. I got these, not sponsored by Sega. Ooh, that'll be the day. Sega paying me. Sega Atlus paying me, you know, to advertise their fucking games. No, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I bought my digital version of Yakuza Kiwami for $5. $5 US. They're often on sale. I think I saw all of them, all the way from Yakuza 1 through 6. Not 0, which is the prequel to the entire series. That wasn't on sale, but the others were on sale. Right now, as of the making of this Q&A, maybe if I turn this into a clip for my second channel, and by the time you see it, the games will no longer be on sale, but look them up if you want to. If you like beat 'em ups with strong RPG elements, excellent storytelling, and mature adult situations, check them out. Check out Yakuza Kiwami. Strongly recommended. Just don't expect it to be a masterpiece, okay? The game is a remake of an old PS2 game, and the remake isn't like it's visually stunning. I mean, but the controls could have been better. The camera could have been better, but they did a great job. I don't know how much money Sega put into this remake, but it turned out to be fantastic. And okay, strongly recommended. So maybe I'll make a video one of these days about focused on the Yakuza series. But I feel like I need to play more, at least 2 more. Maybe Yakuza 1, 2, and 3. And then maybe I'll be ready to make the video. Or maybe I need to play all of them. We'll see what happens. With Yakuza, the series, very recommended. You're welcome. Yeah, I already talked about the Octopath Traveler game being on all modern platforms now. I only played Persona 4 and didn't like it. Well, try the others. They're kind of different. Persona 4, I feel, is the more light-hearted game with rainbows and shit, if you catch my drift. Play Persona 3. That's just phenomenal, man. It's a really dark game. But if Persona 3 doesn't convince you, then the series is not for you. Best RPG out so far? Chrono Cross forever! What kind of question is that, man? Best FFT. War of the Lions or regular... you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not a fan of FFT. I think I'm a bigger fan of Tactics Ogre, which I streamed last night and got my ass kicked in the final dungeons. What do you think about the new Astrobot game coming to PS5? You know, I played the original last year, and I didn't finish it. I completed most stages, just not all of them. And I had fun. I think the game has a lot of personality, and some stages have fantastic music, very worth listening to outside of the game. But it wasn't like the second coming of platforming Christ or anything. It's a good game. I do recommend it. It's free after all. If you buy a PS5, it's free, right? It's already installed in your PS5. So yeah, check it out if you like it. You know, get the sequel, I guess. But I will say this: that was a long-anticipated sequel. When the PS5 came out, everybody played Astrobot in the console, and everybody was like, "Man, this is fucking awesome! This is fucking awesome! And why isn't this its own game, not free with a physical release, you know, and stuff like that?" You know, everybody wondered the same thing. And now, 3.5 years later, it's finally getting a sequel. Well, it didn't take Sony long enough to realize that people love the fucking game. So I'm glad it's happening. Will I play it? I don't know. I don't trust Sony. Sony is like Square Enix, even though they had a fight. They had a cat fight over exclusivity not long ago. In the end, they're both the same. You know, there's always some agenda behind their new games, their modern games nowadays. So I'm not interested in the game, to be honest. But I guess I'll wait. I'll play it one day. Maybe if it's free, like the first one, I'll give it a chance. What's your favorite volume of .hack GU? I think it will be the third one. Yeah, the Redemption, because it all comes to a close and it's an epic ending. Haseo gets more weapons and he's more powerful. Yeah, definitely Redemption. But I think Reminisce is darker. You go through these situations with some of the characters, and then there's the Adelie arc, which is psychological as fuck. I mean, she's fucked up, man, and I love her because of that. So it's between Reminisce and Redemption, but I'm sticking with Redemption. Yeah, Reminisce is the one that makes you go train a heck of a lot to go into the tournament, right? So that was a pain in the ass. Redemption, definitely. How many RPGs have you completed so far? I lost count a long time ago. I made a video like 5 years ago where I counted every single one of them. And back then, 5.5 years ago, no, not too much. 5 years ago, in 2019, and I think I got like 100 and something, close to 200. But right now, I don't know, maybe add 100 more, maybe 150, I don't know, maybe. Remember when Sony used to have JRPG exclusive other than Final Fantasy? Yeah, I do. That was like 2 years ago. They still have a lot of exclusives. Not a lot like they did back in the day. But the PS4 still has a bunch of exclusives to it, including some JRPGs. We got Sakura Wars. It's exclusive to the PlayStation 4. We got The Witch and the 100 Knight 2, also an exclusive on the PlayStation 4. We've got that Ken's Rage game, Lost in Paradise, something like that. Yeah, that's also an exclusive on the PS4. Unavailable in any other system. I think those are the only three exclusives on the only three JRPGs. I think there's two more, but they're Japanese only. Like Grand Blue. No, Grand Blue, no. Record of Grand Crest War. Amazing anime, by the way. Got a game, real-time strategy game, only in Japan. We never got it. God damn it. And then there's another one that's kind of like inspired by Minecraft. I forget its name. So I made a video called Top 5 Exclusive JRPGs on PS4. Check it out, the games are there. I feel like there's one more that I'm missing though, that did come out of Japan. But I don't remember. Have you played the 4th volume? Yes, I did. I own the remaster. It's a pretty short volume, 5 hours long. It's fun, it's cool. I guess it wraps things up with Ovan and explains a few plot holes from the trilogy, you know. So it's cool, I liked it. It was a fun extra. You know, you buy the remaster, which is dirt cheap nowadays. You buy this remaster and you get that extra episode, which is like 5-6 hours long. It's worth it. Especially, like I mentioned, since the game is dirt cheap nowadays. Yakuza Kiwami for €5 on the PS Store. Get it. Strongly recommend it. Get it. Right now, what the hell, man? For starters, Final Fantasy X is its own thing, and you can compare it to any other turn-based RPG in existence. And 10-2 I fucking hate. I hate Final Fantasy X-2. Why do I hate it so much? Because I've already explained this a million times, but I guess I haven't explained it in a long time. Because see, it's a shitty, embarrassing, cringe-worthy spin-off. I think that's when the series went to hell for me. That marks the demise of the series. And then it was saved with Final Fantasy XII. Well, I guess it was also saved with 11, but I never played it. I don't play MMORPGs. 12 was a great game, but it didn't feel like a true Final Fantasy to me. And then it went off the rails with that. I don't like idols. I hated the fact that one of my favorite JRPG series of all time from when I was young, the intro was pretty much Britney Spears, Yuna playing Britney Spears, you know, in the middle of a stage and singing. Now, when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck am I playing, man? What the fuck did they do to Yuna? And what the hell, man? That's why I hate the game so much. I don't think it's a bad game. I've recognized before that it is not a bad game, but I can't recommend something that I don't like. The goth girl, Pain, right? I don't know much about her, but she seemed out of place, like she didn't belong in that game. And you know, Japanese goth, it's something else. I don't think they understand the true meaning of what it means to be goth. You know, I don't think they do. Like mixing a goth character with some fucking pop idols, like, that's just Twilight level of goth. The South Park episodes based on that were hilarious, man. No, I just answered I never played Final Fantasy XI because I don't play MMORPG, so obviously I was never a fan. I'm about to play Suikoden 2, and I'm only intending one playthrough. Is the standard ending satisfactory? No! No! It's a bad ending, a very important character dies, and Ryu ends up depressed at the end. No, not worth it, man. Look up a guide and recruit every character and get the true ending. Play with a guide, really. Okay, don't get the bad ending. It's bad. I just saw on Steam today that the Suikoden remasters will be added. Is that an exact date confirmed already? I don't know. When's the day? When will they be added? When? Thank you, YouTube, for loving me and recommending my fans and recommending my videos to everybody out there, and to notifying every single viewer to show up today. Maybe they just don't want to watch the videos. I'm gonna remove that from the title. I mean, it's just better. The element of surprise is just better. One damn Q&A coming right up. That, trust me, that'll make more people join, and when we can start with a surprise. Got a little surprise. We're gonna do a couple of exciting things here. I was just waiting to get to the first half an hour with like 80 people or 70 people or something, but it's 48, so... Anyway. Which Tales game you think needs a remaster? Fantasia, Eternia, Destiny, Legendia, Nevermind, Abyss, Rebirth, Destiny 2, maybe even Tales of the World. If I had to pick just one, it will be Fantasia. People are probably flocking here to ask questions related to recent Summer Game Fest and no one's done that, man. No one's said anything about it, no one's asked anything about it. They don't give a shit. Are the mini games in Eiyuden 100 Heroes really that bad? No, they're actually quite fun. I just hate the fact that to recruit 3 characters you need to play a shit ton of them versus a lot of characters, a lot of NPCs, and that's annoying. It shouldn't have been that way. But no, the games are annoying. The cooking mini game is fantastic. I love it. The card game, it's okay. But the spinning game, the Beyblade game, it isn't bad. But it's like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I pulled through, and I recruited every single character. They aren't bad, man. They're just, forcing mini games on the player to recruit all characters and get the true ending, And wow. It's not just 3 mini games, it's like 10,000 of them. 20 matches of Beyblade. Why? Was Murayama really such a big, die-hard fan of Beyblade? Jesus Christ. But, there's always the possibility that they may have done that on purpose to increase the length of the game. It's a pretty short game. If you don't care about the bad ending and a specific character dying, you can beat the game in like 25 hours. Actually, it's fairly short. It's an indie game. Okay. Yes, they got $4.5 million put into it. Half of that went to the fucking assholes who translated the game. I don't know how much money they got, but if we take into consideration that it's still an indie game, we couldn't really ask for a 40-50 hour long game, It is a 40 hour plus game if you recruit every single character, like I did. I did over 40 hours. But on my first playthrough, which was like with the bad ending because the game wasn't patched, so I was forced to get the bad ending, I did like 26 hours, and it was it. So I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose. They added a lot of matches in these minigames to get these other characters just to increase the length of the game. It's a cheap way to increase the length of video games nowadays. Because, they don't want people to say, oh, it's too short, I didn't like it, it's too short, it's not worth my money. I hate that mentality, But to each their own. People like different things in different lengths. Never. I'm never giving Final Fantasy 13 another chance. No thanks. Did you like Shadow Hearts 3? Yes, I did. It's a good game. Do you ever play fishing minigames in JRPGs? Only when I'm forced. Like in Eiyuden or Nier. First, Nier has a fishing mission that's mandatory. Trails 2. Trails from Zero. Like, oh man. Ugh. But okay. Out of fun? No, I don't like fishing. I hate fishing. I hate fishing in real life. I hate fishing in minigames. I told you there are 55 people watching. I told you by changing the title, more people will join. So a lot of people are, oh, he's gonna do a video, so he's not gonna answer my questions about waifu, so I'm not gonna join today. Go to hell, Erick. Fine. What? You're still talking about Final Fantasy VII? Man. The game did an impact on you. Oh, 5 people left. See? Jesus. What do people expect here? I don't understand. It's like they expect to see, I don't know. Anyway, were you ever a fan of the Beyblade anime series? No, man. The question. Oh, man. I guess we should do this. There's enough people. I'm too lazy to wait until we get like 100 people watching or something. So, check these 2 games out, people. Do you know them? Ah, the plastic bags. They're sealed because I got them digital. I have no reason to open them. Maybe I will, but they have nothing. It will be fun to open them if they had a manual, but they do not have a manual. PS4 games don't come with a manual, most of them anyway, so what's the point? I'm just gonna leave them sealed. So, can you see them? This is Star Ocean, the Divine Force, and this is Tales of Arise. Okay, so what we're gonna do is compare these 2 games and decide together which is the better game. You understand what that means, people? And we're gonna do a video about that. This clip will be featured with gameplay footage and shit on my first channel, not my second channel, my main channel. It's gonna be called Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean: The Divine Force. So how is this gonna work? So I'm going to make a poll, and you guys are gonna vote. And at the end, you know, I'm gonna leave the poll for like half an hour. We can talk about other things in the meantime. I'll just edit the video when I have time. And once half an hour has passed, you know, we'll decide. We'll see which game won. But another important thing is that if you want to participate in this discussion, you're gonna have to make a comment and make your argument in there. You're gonna have you'll be able to say, oh, I think Tales of Arise is the better game because of this and that, or I think Star Ocean is better because of this and that. And I'll read that, and what you say is gonna make it to the video. So, you know, thousands of people are gonna watch it. If you want to participate, that is. Alright? So don't answer anything right now. Don't answer, just wait. Okay, wait till I make the poll. So, today, we're gonna compare Tales of Arise with Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Both games are available on PlayStation consoles. Neither is on Switch, unfortunately. But yeah, you get the idea. So, if you've only played one, just choose one. If you played both, it's gonna make things more interesting. You'll be able to compare them both. And we'll see how it goes, right? So, I'm gonna make the poll right now. And you guys are gonna answer, you're gonna vote, and you're gonna make your argument. And I'm gonna read that argument, like I said. And that's gonna make it to the video. And then near the end, before ending the poll or after ending the poll, I'll make my own argument. I'll pick my winner and I'll explain why. Sounds cool, right? So let's do the poll. Start a poll. I got another one. If we have enough time, we'll do another one. 2 more games here. And these two are Tales of Arise. Okay, the question is Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean 6. Okay, so Star Ocean: The Divine Force. And ready? 3, 2, 1, start voting. Start voting, everybody. Woo! This is gonna be fun. Like I said, if you want to answer, if you want to, oh wow, Star Ocean getting destroyed here, badly. I think Arise is the more popular game. Star Ocean got a lot of shit and hate. So yeah. All right, we got the first comment here. So Jordan says, I think Tales of Arise is the stronger game, but Divine Force may have been more important. Arise was riding a high off the back of Berseria, whereas Divine Force had to follow integrity and fatalessness. That's a good argument. That's a good argument. Okay. Don't just answer, Matt. Come on. You loved both, but it was Arise for me. Come on. Explain why. I want to read some solid arguments, like Jordan here. Your arguments are gonna make it to the video. I'll post this video on my main channel next week. So come on, people, try harder. Star Ocean still getting wrecked. No, you don't have to delete anything. You didn't have to delete anything. Hard to argument when only playing one game. Yeah, I get that. So Skycatcher says, Arise removed a lot of the cool stuff from the previous series, like cooperative mode and after battle sayings, like the victory quotes, right? Oh, okay. That's your argument? Come on. So I'm guessing you're voting for Star Ocean, right? Shin's RPG says, Tales of Arise for me, because of faster and fluid gameplay, and don't forget those combination attacks, it looks so cool, character designs are awesome too. Okay. I respect that. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll save my comments for last. Sense says Star Ocean is better because it actually had characters that people can identify with. So you don't think that Tales of Arise cast is identifiable? Like people can't relate to them? Or people relate more to the Star Ocean 6 cast? Is that what you're trying to say? It wasn't a terrible argument, but maybe elaborate a bit better. We need more Hooflong. Star Ocean has more complicated systems. What is that supposed to mean? Is that a bad thing or a good thing about it? Okay, Julie says, if I have to say, Arise's soundtrack was less memorable for a whole than from other games. Mainly being ambientic long songs. Not a bad thing, but Arise's soundtrack was kinda unmemorable for me. Okay, so the Star Ocean music was better. Okay, a solid argument about the music. Okay. Tales of Arise has better graphics, a better combat system, and a much more beautiful world, says Ilias. Okay. Fine. Man. I'll be reading all of your comments, but only the more compelling arguments are gonna make it to the video, okay? Fantonium says, I'd go with Star Ocean the Divine Force, as its combat system wasn't entirely streamlined like Tales of Arise's. What do you mean with streamlined? What is that supposed to mean? And Jordan keeps saying something else. So Jordan says, mechanically, Arise brings more to the table as all 6 playable characters work together seamlessly, and being able to use characters on the sidelines as a clutch was sick. Star Ocean 6 was just, well, more Star Ocean. Okay, I respect that. So, Hooflong said that the battle system in Star Ocean is more complicated. He says you can breeze through Tales of Arise, which is more accessible, but Star Ocean caters to its fans. Okay, man. I'm not sure which game you're trying to favor here. What's going on? Anyway, the poll is still destroying Star Ocean. Tales of Arise is winning by a landslide. Hey, interlocutor. And yet another argument by Jordan. Divine Force, however, didn't go off the rails at the end, narrative-wise. Okay, yeah. Alright. Come on, people, take your time, you know, we got time, you know, it's not like you have to answer right away, you know. The poll is still gonna be up for 20 more minutes. It's more time. Hey, Sanjit, I'm fine. I've been good, man. What about you? Yeah, I know a lot of people haven't played those games. If this is entertaining enough, and the video gets slightly successful at least, I'll do more. And maybe we can do some retro RPGs next time. I got one competition. I gotta make good matches though. It's not just random. Don't think this is random, like I pulled 2 games out of my ass and I was like, oh, this game versus this game, yeah. No. Because sometimes some games are not gonna be able to compete with the other. In fact, this first one, Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean, I was thinking last night, man, Arise is probably going to destroy it because it's simply the most popular game. Even if one game is better than the other, you know, Arise is simply the most popular game. It's as if I was making Persona 5 compete against Ys 9, for example. You know, Persona 5 will win by a landslide because it's just the more popular game, unfortunately. But I still think there was a lot of... I still think there's a lot of arguments to be done in favor of both Tales of Arise and Star Ocean. And even though I'm pretty sure Tales of Arise is gonna win, I think there's a lot of good things to say about Star Ocean. And I want to give the people like you guys the opportunity to defend Star Ocean. That's all I'm gonna say. I have my own winner. I'll say it at the end. Okay, but honestly, I think it's a good competition. It's a good match. The point of this new series, video series, whatever you want to call it, is to do that, to create good matches. Like when you pick a game, another game, and you're like, fuck. See what I mean? So the competition needs to be like really... I mean, every game has its match. It needs to have like a solid match. Like Persona 5 versus, I don't know, an obscure game like Oninaki, for example. I mean, come on. Persona 5 is gonna win. Like, how about Persona 5 versus, I don't know, I can't think of one right now, but there's gotta be that one game that's gonna make people doubt. It's gonna make people choose. It's gonna make people like, fuck, right? And I think Star Ocean and Tales of Arise was that for me personally. I think for a lot of you. But I think the general public, I mean, this is straight up obvious, you know, Tales of Arise is gonna win. But I'm still waiting for more arguments. That's all I wanted to say. I'll say my opinion at the end, Ilias. Thank you, Sense. Okay, Val, you said Star Ocean 6 was very unbalanced. Can you elaborate why? NMO, Nemo, I guess? Well, NMO95 says, Arise was a huge step forward in terms of cutscenes. The art style was superior and the game can set up a new era of awesome Tales games like Symphonia did. The formula is now established. Okay. Nice argument. I see what you're trying to say. I see why you give preference to Arise over Star Ocean. Alright. I didn't play Tales of Arise DLC. It received criticism. Why? Thank you, Bart. You're welcome. Thank you and you're welcome. New YouTube layout. I don't think I like it. They went back. There was a new YouTube layout like 2 weeks ago and I didn't like it either. But then it was removed. This week it was removed from my own channel. It's just there for some people, like what's going on YouTube. Maybe they're experimenting and seeing which people like it, and how many people like it and whatnot, and how many people don't. I don't know. You have watched some walkthroughs. Sorry, Anthony. Your arguments need to come from people who play the games. Come on, man. Lots of cool music today. I should have put music from Star Ocean and Tales of Arise. But nah. And then if I take out the music... Yeah, I think this bottle is... broken. It's leaking. Anyway, it's 51 votes. Tales of Arise is still destroying Star Ocean the Divine Force. Sadly. I was hoping for a more balanced, you know, scale. Maybe not 50-50, but maybe 60-40 or something like that, you know. Yeah. But you know Star Ocean series, right? They're all the same. The new one comes out, everybody trashes it. And then the next one comes out, and all of a sudden the previous one is a masterpiece. Except Star Ocean 5. But for the other games, it's been that way. I remember when people were trashing Star Ocean The Last Hope, everybody was like, fuck that game, it's a piece of shit, don't play it. And now it's gained a more... a better reputation. That's all I'm gonna say. Arise's songs are more than twice as long in the former Tales games. Okay. I didn't know they play ads during live streams. They do. And I barely make any money, by the way. Haven't received a single donation today. Probably because there's no one watching. At this point, usually when I get to the 50-minute mark, I have like 70 or 80 people watching, but... I don't know. Something's off today. And I think, as always, YouTube's fucking me up. Not notifying anybody. That's so fun. Being shadow banned in this wonderful website. Because they want to break me. Because they want me to quit. It's because of its summer? No, nothing to do, man. Star Ocean: The Divine Force might be overlooked, but it's clearly more geared towards hardcore JRPG fans. So is that a good or a bad thing? Zent says Star Ocean is better because it's mechanically easier to play. That's subjective. Okay, gamers can play anything, but Star Ocean is easy for anybody to play. I guess I don't disagree with that because Tales of Arise is just harder to play. It's a little bit more technical, right? I agree with that. But Star Ocean can be kind of messy and chaotic. And it's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, I guess. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Isn't the Xbox show over? Isn't it over? Yeah, I figured it was because of that, but I'm like, man, I mean, Xbox? Really? I thought my fan base didn't give two fucks about Xbox, and now all of a sudden they do. Exactly, I mean, Tales of Arise, the combat was definitely trickier than your average action RPG for sure. Yeah, I remember if we compare Tales of Arise with previous Tales games, you can definitely see that it's harder than the other. It's one of the hardest Tales games, Tales of Arise, in my opinion. Thank you, Interlocutor. Off topic, but do you have a tentative release date for Código Morgana on paperback? Really looking forward to it. You mean in English, right? Probably next year. I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but who knows? I could change my mind and translate it. It's a good book to shit on modern politics, you know. I mean, the book was written in 2016, so the bullshit modern politics from nowadays weren't there back then. But if I can add something, you know, and I could always make a series, an entire series based on the book. I planned a prequel a long time ago and never wrote it, so maybe that could be the case. You know, I could do that one of these days. Turn into a series, and the second game will shit on modern politics or something. That was great, right? Let's celebrate their 10th super on a live stream. I'm seeing that message. Are you seeing that message? Anyway, that was your 10th donation, man. Of all time. Thanks. It's the Xbox showcase, it's over, but people are probably talking about it. And your fans are probably simple gamers in general. Really? I don't know. Whenever I talk about something related to Xbox, people don't seem to give a fuck. I'm pretty sure most of my fans don't care about the Xbox, but yeah. It could be because of it, but I'm pretty sure it's YouTube fucking me over. Everything bad that happens to me in this website, even if it isn't YouTube's fault, it's YouTube's fault. Anyway. Any more arguments? Exactly, Rosland. Those shows never talk about real RPG, so I don't care. I kind of agree. My Xbox is pretty much a piece of shit. My Xbox... I don't have an Xbox. I've read it in Spanish. Oh, you read Spanish. There's some 1984 influence in there for sure. Yeah. But guess what? Before I wrote that book, I had never read 1984 in my life. I read that book afterwards. And I saw the movie afterwards. You know? If anything, the book, Morgana probably has more influences of Brave New World. And how the organization is supposed to shit on a world like that. Aldous Huxley, you know? I read that book a long time ago and certainly influenced a bit Morgana. But to be completely honest, my book Morgana is more influenced on society. On general society. It didn't need to get influences from any video games or movies or books or anything. The biggest influence in Morgana is society in general. How much I hate society and what would it be like if there was an organization trying to change it, but also trying to be evil, you know, and change enforce things, enforce a change. Kind of like today, I'm a prophet. I predicted the future. I'm just kidding. So Tales of Arise is destroying Star Ocean in the poll. Yeah. Okay. So bring back Floppy Duck says, it's not objective, but I've always preferred fantasy over science fiction settings. So that's the only reason why you prefer Tales over Star Ocean. Tales of Arise is also kind of science fiction, man, and even the second half of the game, it's science fiction at its best. It's a space, and aliens and shit and stuff like that, so yeah, your argument is kind of invalid. Thank you, Hooflong. He says, when you get a chance, can you do a quick rundown of the combat mechanics of 13 Sentinels? It looks chaotic. Well, the poll's about to end in like 10 minutes, so we still have 10 minutes. And remember, guys, if you want to say something about the poll, remember, I'll read your arguments, and your arguments will make it to the video. This is gonna be turned into a video, an actual video for my main channel in next week. And so it's the next one. I have another two more games to compare. And I saved the best one for last. Oh man, these two! This is gonna be a fight! Tales of Arise, Star Ocean, the outcome is predictable. But these other two, holy shit, man. So, the combat mechanics in 13 Sentinels aren't that chaotic if you've played any real-time strategy RPGs. You start and it's on real time, that's why it's chaotic. It's like StarCraft, okay? You need to like pause the game. How you pause the game is how you bring up anybody's menu and then you get to the side. All you need to do is tell this unit to go defend this area or to go fight these enemies here or these hordes of enemies here, and they'll do that. It'll take some time, because they're gonna walk, right? Or some characters are faster than others. Overall, I think the game 13 Sentinels is pretty easy. If you start, I think there's an easy mode. I never played the easy mode, but if it helps, try the easy mode for the first missions, so you can get an idea on what the game's about and how it plays and how it works. So you can get used to it, right? You select your characters. You select your character's actions, and that's all you do basically. Is if you think about it, it's no different from any other strategy RPG, any turn-based strategy RPG. It's just everything is happening in real time. And remember, have you ever played any of the old Final Fantasy games? How the enemy wasn't gonna wait for you. Sure, it's still turn-based, but the enemy was attacking you while you were trying to decide what to do. So this is kind of similar. It's just the same. You're trying to decide what to do in the middle of a real-time combat. It's not that convoluted, it's not that chaotic, it's not complicated. And I think the game, even on normal mode, gives you enough time to really learn the basics and really get used to how it plays and how it's gonna play from now on. Later, near the end of the game, it starts getting challenging, sure, but you get a bunch of characters and there's no permadeath. So don't worry, feel free to experiment and to observe. That game is more about observation. Real-time strategy RPGs are more about observation at the beginning. You need to observe how certain characters behave, and maybe by after 2, 3, 4 missions, you already notice that this character specifically is not great for these types of actions. Like this character is better to have near the base so they can defend, or this character is better to keep a distance from the enemy so they can heal or they can buff the others. And then you got your attackers. You need to study your characters. You get a bunch of characters per mission, right? And you gotta strategize with that. That's the best way I can explain 13 Sentinels. It's not that convoluted. It's not really a complex game. It's not for everybody because it's still a strategy game. But all you need to do is decide which character is best at what and go from there. Always send this character to attack hordes of enemies, or always have a healer not that far away from them, stuff like that. So, yeah. I know it's hard to get into, but once you do, it's a blast. For the agreement? You mean the argument? Okay, do you only count in-game stuff or things like sales of the games or the budget they had? No, in-game stuff. Okay? Tales of Arise sold more. That's an objective fact. It's not an argument. It's just Tales of Arise is more popular, it sold more, and therefore it's probably gonna win, right? But no, I want arguments about the in-game. Why do you prefer playing Tales of Arise over Star Ocean or the other way around? Those are the arguments I'm looking for. What makes one game better than the other for you personally? Why do I think Microsoft is so incompetent now compared to the Xbox 360 era? Probably because of political decisions they've made and because they want to cater to a specific audience that's not really a good gamer audience in my opinion. Should I buy First Tactics Ogre Reborn or Triangle Strategy? I think Triangle Strategy is the better game. We should do that one day. Triangle Strategy versus Tactics Ogre. That's gonna be a blast. But I don't think a lot of people have played those games, so maybe it's not gonna work. I think Triangle Strategy is the better game. And it's not as brutal. Ogre is just fucking brutal, man. Did you finish the demo of Daybreak? Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, I'll read that, Patrick. So Patrick O says Divine Force is better than Arise, but I think it just comes down to which you prefer, Star Ocean or Tales. As in the overall series, okay. In all the Star Oceans, there is so much going on, and Tales games are usually more point A to point B. Okay, but so you prefer Divine Force because there's just so much to do, right? So much going on, and it's more difficult. Okay, I get it. Nice argument. Was any Xbox console ever good? The Xbox 360 was great in my opinion. I think the Xbox 360 had a large variety of games and genres that were great. It stood out in every single genre in my opinion. It wasn't the best. I mean, I think it's the best Xbox console, but I think Xbox One might be better because there's more RPGs and more variety. Yeah, one could say that the Xbox One is better. It's a better console. So, Star Ocean is Tales of Arise 70%, Star Ocean 30%. I give 5 more minutes and it'll be over, though the outcome is predictable. Any more arguments? You got a few minutes, people. Remember, I'll read your argument and that argument is going to make it to the video. Your comment will make it to the video. It'll be featured. Any more arguments? The next one is like pretty hardcore. That's gonna be a fight. But we'll take a break. Why do you think Treasure of the Rudras was the original Octopath Traveler? I'm literally scratching my head, man. Like what? Because of the battle mechanics? Because of the multi-characters? I think Treasure of the Rudras was more inspired by Saga, and Octopath Traveler was also inspired by the Saga series, so no, I don't think so. But now I'm starting to see why you're saying that. Okay, yeah, because both games are influenced by the Saga series, okay. So no, I don't think Treasure of the Rudras was the original Octopath Traveler, really. Crash Team Racing music. No more arguments? Great game. I love this fucking game. Are we really gonna keep talking about Microsoft and Xbox just because it's the trending topic? Seriously? Anyway. As long as we keep the interaction going, I guess. So, Tales of Arise. Don't worry, the next one is gonna be more entertaining. I think it's that's gonna be a battle. These two games, that's gonna be a battle. This one I thought last night, I was like, Arise is gonna win, it's just a more popular game. You only play as the girl in the Divine Force, Leticia. Okay, Raymond is a blast to play with. He's a great character, he grows on you. I think the sword users in the last Star Ocean games were kind of chaotic. Like playing as Edge in The Last Hope was kind of troublesome, to be honest. And then there was the guy from Fate from Star Ocean 3, oh my god. Right, but Raymond, he's a beast. He's one of the most powerful characters in the game. Letitia's fine, she's a well-rounded character. She's powerful, she's fun to play as. I did end up playing with her a lot. But once I got Elena, I was constantly switching between Raymond and Elena. Raymond saved me from certain death many times. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. Let's wrap things... sorry. Never mind. So let's wrap things up. Tales of Arise, 69%. Star Ocean, the Divine Force, 31%. Okay. I kind of knew Tales of Arise will win simply because it's the most popular game. Yeah, I think I'll do a better match next time for the next video, but I'm surprised that Star Ocean didn't get that many votes, but at the same time, it's a game that influencers and reviewers and journalists destroyed for no other reason than the graphics, maybe, or for no other reason than being a bit unbalanced, even though Tales of Arise is difficult as hell. So, but at the same time, you know, I put a game that is extremely popular, that sold over 2 million copies worldwide, well, whereas Star Ocean, I don't think it made it past the first million. Maybe it did, I don't remember. Let me know if you know. But, yeah, the outcome was predictable. Tales of Arise is the winner according to the consensus and according to 81 people in my chat. Okay, now I'll tell you my argument. Okay, so it will surprise you to know that I think Star Ocean, the Divine Force, is the better game. Why? Because I saw some arguments saying that Tales of Arise was pretty linear, and there was a lot of confusion near the end, like the ending didn't make any sense, and then it went on Star Ocean. Tales of Arise became Star Ocean Arise. You know, halfway through the game, you go into space, and it becomes this science fiction madness that, yes, I liked it, you know, but in terms of narrative and storytelling, I think Tales of Arise should have kept its science fiction setting to a minimum, like in any other Tales game, but instead it went full-blown Star Ocean, man. So my opinion, from my perspective, it kind of tried to be Star Ocean, and Star Ocean wins because, you know, it's just Star Ocean, it's just another Star Ocean game. I'm also giving it preference because it saved the franchise. Everybody thought the series was dead, and all of a sudden Tri-Ace and Square Enix made up, and they decided to be friends once again and collaborate, and the result was this amazing game. Sure, I can give you this. Tales of Arise has better graphics. It certainly does. Star Ocean 6 suffered from the resolution frame rate issues, like the, prioritize one or the other. And I was always saying, I said this during my review, like, why couldn't we have gotten both? You know, why couldn't we give priority to both? You know, and instead the graphics looked kind of blurry. They weren't AAA level of looking graphics, you know, while Tales of Arise looks more refined. I'll give you that, but I think, and the combat in Tales of Arise is great, but I think Star Ocean experimented a bit more and introduced this level of this thing, the drone thing, you know, that wasn't there before, and made battles more engaging, but at the same time more chaotic. I'm saying that Tales of Arise is a more technical combat, and I see why a lot of people prefer that. But when it comes to action RPGs, I like my chaos. Okay, I'm a Nier fanboy, and they're more chaotic battle mechanics. So of course I'm gonna give preference to Star Ocean. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to comparing both series, the Tales series with the Star Ocean series, I'm a bigger Tales fan. I can see why a lot of you thought I would choose Tales of Arise, but no. And it's not because I'm choosing the underdog here. No, it's because I really legitimately think Star Ocean had more to offer. And in terms of story, I think the story in Star Ocean makes more sense, and it's more adult oriented. Arise had this darkness to it at the beginning, but then it went off the rails to something cliche and tropey, and the romance between Alphen and Xion, and that was fine, I liked that, but that was cliche. Whereas the Divine Force stays on point, and a lot of things happen at once that connect with each other easily and perfectly. You know, I think that Star Ocean has this level of storytelling that makes sense between medieval and science fiction, and the series is known for that. And Star Ocean 6, it didn't disappoint when it comes to storytelling. I also believe that the character development in Star Ocean 6 is simply better. The development the Arise cast goes through is stereotyped. It's kind of tropey, you know, and I like it, don't take me wrong, but I didn't see a lot of development for most characters. And in Star Ocean, you know, you see more development, especially for some characters. I know some of them also didn't get the best development, but the main characters, you know, kind of changed their perspectives near the end. And I found the cast in Star Ocean 6 a little bit more likable. And the icing on the cake, the music is just better. Tales of Arise, the soundtrack was kind of forgettable. Someone was saying earlier that the soundtrack was kind of forgettable, unmemorable. Like, I can only remember a couple of themes, to be honest, whereas in Star Ocean 6, the music is fantastic. I think Motoi Sakuraba puts more attention to the Valkyrie and the Star Ocean series when it comes to music than the Tales series. But that's nothing objective, that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm trying to say that I like Star Ocean music a little bit more, because it sounds more science fiction-ish and rockish and metal-ish than what the Tales series have to offer. And that's pretty much my argument. The drone thing in Star Ocean made the combat much better for me. The storytelling was more mature and darker, so I give preference to that. The characters were more likable for me. I love Leticia, and I love the... Raymond was a more interesting character, you know. He wasn't your average protagonist, you know. He's kind of like an adult trying to give preference. He's a merchant, and we've never seen a merchant before like Raymond, you know. That was pretty interesting. That made things more interesting. And Elena became one of my favorite characters. She's such a multi-dimensional android, and I just couldn't understand why an android will get that kind of development that she gets. So she won me over. And when it comes to fan service, well, you can't go wrong with Elena. She's so easy on the eye, man. She's just so easy on the eye. I'm not saying Xion or Kisara aren't. That's great fan service right there. But I don't know, Elena, man, and the other girl, the from the alien race, you know, she's great to look at. So maybe in fan service they're a tie, but I think I prefer staring at Elena than Xion for some reason. That's just a dumb argument. Anyway, guys, so yeah, Tales of Arise wins for you. Star Ocean wins for me, and I'm not choosing this to be contrary or to be contrarian or anything. You know, I had my decision from the start, and if you watched a couple of specific videos that I did, there's one called Best Modern JRPG so far, pretty successful, that I did last year, and I put Star Ocean. I ranked Star Ocean higher or lower. Should I say lower from 10 to 1? Yeah. So in that video, you can see that I already thought that Star Ocean was the better game. But I'll be completely honest, there's not much difference. Like, if you're gonna make me choose between these two games, I'm choosing Star Ocean. But to be honest, it's not like there's an abyss of the difference. It's not like, oh my god, this wins by a landslide for me. No, these two are just as great. They're excellent games, strongly recommended. But I think this one is a little bit better. The difference isn't that much. But yeah, I think Star Ocean is the better game for me personally. That's it. That's all I have to say. What do you think about this? Do you think which game do you think is better? You can say that on the chat right now, or you can leave a comment when this video is up. I guess I should say thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends, right? Yeah, I'll say that. I just did. That's it, everybody. Star Ocean is the winner for me. But yeah, I can see why Tales of Arise is the winner for most of you. That's it. Back to your goddamn questions. I'm very transparent, right, Rosland? I couldn't hide that Star Ocean was doing so bad in the poll. But the next one is gonna be a blast. Let's just take a break and I'll do the other one. That's gonna be more exciting. Just because it's cliche doesn't mean it's bad, right? But I still like the story. Are all the Star Ocean standalone? They all take place in the same universe, but yes, they're all standalone. They barely and very rarely reference one another. I think the ones that are more connected are the first two games. Star Ocean 1 and 2 are the only ones that are kind of like for example, in Star Ocean 1, you got these two characters, and they end up together at the end, and their son, Claude, is the protagonist of the second game. So that's a big reference, right? But you can jump in with the Star Ocean or the Tales series at any time with any game. I love this fucking thing. The Cap Attack platformer on the Sega Genesis. Pretty difficult. Kinda Metroidvania-ish now that I think about it. You need to backtrack and find things and switches and stuff, and yeah. The music is phenomenal. Nah, Chrono Trigger versus Chrono Cross? Come on. We all know Trigger's gonna win, you know, in the consensus. I will pick Cross, of course, but nah, that's kind of boring, man. And that's overdone. Maybe if the series... I'm gonna make a video out of this, you know, and it could become a series. And if it's kind of successful, maybe eventually I'll do Cross versus Trigger, but it doesn't sound like a lot of fun. It's just the usual classic, you know. I don't know. What's the next game you really want to play? Yakuza 2. I'm playing Yakuza 1 right now on PS4, and I'm loving it. So now the next game that I want to play is the second one. But I need to finish the first one first. I also want to play a lot Trails Through Daybreak, which is coming up. Are either The Last Hope or Tales of Arise worth paying full price? No. Why would you pay full price for The Last Hope? That's an old game. Dude, Tales of Arise and The Last Hope are dirt cheap nowadays. You can find them for like laughable prices. My copy, I paid like $15 for my copy of Tales of Arise sealed. And I'm pretty sure I've seen it for less. Or are you planning on buying them digital? Don't buy them digital, man. Buy them physical. They're much, much cheaper. Unless you want to get The Last Hope with 1080p graphics, which isn't worth it in my opinion. I mean, you're gonna pay full price for 1080p at 60 frames per second? Really? The game looks perfect on the PS3. And the physical version is like $10, man, or probably less. Tales of Arise is $35 on Steam? That's highway robbery, people. I paid $15 for the version that you actually own. I'm always gonna give priority to physical media, man, when it comes to prices. Kiwami 2 is, in my opinion, the best of the Kiryu saga. Everybody says that Yakuza 2 is the best Yakuza game ever. I'll be the judge of that. Guess number 2 is Final Fantasy Tactics versus Tactics Ogre. No, because I couldn't make a compelling argument. I barely played Final Fantasy Tactics, so no. That's right, you people made me into a Yakuza fan. Do you wish you would have started with Yakuza 1 rather than starting with Like a Dragon? No, I'm fine having started with Like a Dragon. I did start with Yakuza 1 a long time ago on the PS2 and I didn't like it. So I needed to play Like a Dragon first to become a fan. So I did play the original Yakuza on the PS2 a long time ago and I couldn't get into it back then. So sometimes you need other games to get you into the series, to get you back, to make you stay back. But I'll be completely honest with you. If Yakuza Kiwami didn't exist, I don't know how I will play Yakuza. I probably will have to download a ROM of the first Yakuza and then emulate it. And I don't know if I will be able to get into it because the original PS2 version, I don't think it aged pretty well. Maybe we got Kiwami thanks to me becoming a fan of the series. We got Kiwami to thank for. Anyway, I don't know, man. It's your money. If you got money to burn, then okay, pay all that money for expansions and digital versions. I think it's stupid. You know, when the physical version is far cheaper than the digital version, the answer should be obvious. That's just my opinion, though. Stop guessing, Patrick. You have no idea. The next contest. You have no idea. You don't have PS4, PS5? Well, if you have a PlayStation 3, get Star Ocean The Last Hope. It's dirt cheap. I wish I lived in... Where do you live? I wish I lived in the same country as you. You live in Canada? If I was still in Canada, I will sell you my copy of it. I have 2 copies. 2 PS3 copies of The Last Hope. I will send it to you if I could, man. I'll be quite interested to hear what you have to say about Yakuza 3 when you get to the remastered games of 3, 4, and 5. It's very different pacing-wise and much more compact in scope, but it gives Kiryu so much context. Can't wait. I'm not gonna play them in a row. I don't think it's a good idea to play them all in a row because they're beat 'em ups and I'm gonna get tired of button mashing my controller. And you do fight a lot. If you think the Yakuza games have a lot of dialogue and shit, well, they do, you know, but there's a lot of fighting too. A lot of it. And scenes are much shorter than the ones in the RPGs. That's what I've been noticing in Kiwami. And I'm starting to get tired of Majima everywhere, by the way. Fuck that guy. I know you fight him to relearn your dragon abilities, but goddamn. It's been like 5 times. 2 of them were kinda in a row. I fought a scripted boss battle against him. That was part of the main story. And then immediately afterwards, I ran into him on the streets. And Majima everywhere, man. You gotta be kidding me. You prefer physical as well? Yeah, me too. Yeah, but for some games, there's only digital. Like, for example, Yakuza Kiwami, I think the physical version, it's a bit rare nowadays. A bit rare. Maybe not in your country, but it is in Mexico. I can't find it. I can't find it anywhere. Yakuza Kiwami for a decent price, right? I've seen it for like 40 or 50 bucks, and that's like, man. So compared to $5 that I paid for the digital version, that's fine. I don't exactly own it, 100% own it, but it's there. I can play it, you know, so it's fine. The original Yakuza games, what? Not sure what you're trying to ask. I think Judgment is better. I think I like Judgment a bit more than the original Yakuza games, but I've only played the first Yakuza game, and I haven't finished it, so I can't answer that question. The original Yakuza 5 in the West was digital only. No physical version, but I think there's a version that has the remasters of 3, 4, and 5, right? Together, and they got a physical release, so maybe. Star Ocean R and Star Ocean 3 HD are only digital. Well, but at least those games got a physical version on PSP and PS2. When you start a second playthrough, you do it to experience the story again or the combat or what? Usually when I start a second playthrough, it depends. If the game has multiple routes and endings, obviously I'm starting a second playthrough because of the story. But as if the game doesn't have any endings, I mean it's gonna be the same no matter what I do, I always give preference to the gameplay. And I've seen myself skipping a lot of cutscenes or scenes just to get to enjoy the combat and the gameplay mechanics and exploring and walking around and the music again, you know, for a second time. But yeah, it depends on the game. Some JRPGs have multiple routes and endings, and I give preference to that. And with those games, I get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Because some of these games with multiple routes and endings have awesome gameplay and awesome combat as well. And it's totally worth it to go through to the game again just to get a different ending, different routes, different characters maybe, and get to experience the combat mechanics again, and it's a blast again. But games that are like linear, or they only have like one different ending or something, like 90% of the game is the same game no matter what you do. Yeah, if I'm doing a second playthrough, if it's because I want to experience the gameplay again, not so much the story. Although some games are worth experiencing again. Like, I've done second playthroughs on certain JRPGs many years apart. Like, I did my first playthrough was whenever, and my second playthrough was like 10 years later, or 5, 6, 7 years later, right? So I have to experience the story again because I don't remember a lot of things. But that's pretty much my answer to you. It depends on the game. But linear games, even if it's been 5, 6, 7 years, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I do tend to skip some cutscenes or some scenes, just to get it over with and focus on the gameplay this time. That's how I feel, but the more years pass, the more I focus on the story again. The more I play a second playthrough and I don't skip anything. The more years pass, the less I skip in a story on my second playthrough. Which Star Ocean game do you think had the best graphics for their time? That will be 3, I guess. Yeah. Probably Star Ocean 3. It was 3D. No, I'm gonna say 4. Star Ocean 4 was released in 2009, I believe, or 2008 on the Xbox 360, and then the next year on the PS3. And that was early PS3, Xbox 360 graphics, and they looked fantastic back then. It looks impressive. So I'm guessing 4. Yeah. Because 3 had great graphics for its time, and so was 2, but 2 was still kind of in 2D with chibi characters. And back then everyone was about the polygons and, the big characters, and they looked fucking ugly. Back then they looked acceptable, but it aged horribly, most of them. Right? So, and as a result, Star Ocean, the second story, aged pretty damn well. But for its time, the best graphics was The Last Hope, in my opinion. They just looked fantastic back then. They looked kind of realistic, a little bit more advanced. They looked kind of like 2012-13 level of graphics, in my opinion. So it was fantastic. Whereas Star Ocean 3, the character models still looked kind of weird. Their expressions, their faces, I think this game came out in 2006, but I think they could have done better. Square Enix and Trius could have done a bit better with the graphics in Star Ocean 3. So therefore, Star Ocean 4 had the best graphics for its time, in my opinion. Do you know Nishiki? Yes. Thanks for the spoiler, asshole. Go fuck yourself. Thank you for agreeing that Chrono Cross is a masterpiece. You got over 1,100 Steam games. Wow, that's just crazy, man. Have you played them all? Have you beat them all? Why do you do that? Why do people do that, man? Why do people burn their... I guess you're pretty wealthy. To be able to burn game money like that, man, that's just crazy. Do you think JRPGs in general should only have Japanese voices or with subs? No, I think it's okay to keep the English dub alive. I don't support it anymore because of politics, because I hate politics, but I think English dub should be there forever, to be honest, as much as I hate it nowadays. What do you think about the big Star Ocean 3 confrontational story reveal when it came out? That's a spoiler, so I'm not gonna answer. What's the coolest looking weapon from JRPGs? Scythes. They looked so dark and badass and dangerous. Scythes, I don't know, for some reason they looked like, man. Others that are supposed to be cool look kind of dumb and uncomfortable, like the Buster Sword. I don't know. Keep it spoiler free. Yeah, what's up with that guy, right? Right, guys. Are you ready for the second contest. This is far harder than the other one. I'm gonna be surprised no matter the result. If one game destroys the other, I'm gonna be very surprised, to be honest. I think these are two games that a lot of you have played. I think so. They're kind of modern-ish, okay? But yeah. So, you guys ready? You guys ready or what? Show some excitement, damn it. Are you ready for the next competition? The next versus episode? Well, everybody, today we've got Xenoblade Chronicles, any version, not just this one. Xenoblade Chronicles, the legendary Xenoblade Chronicles, versus Nier Automata. I thought about this last night and I was like, I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide. I mean, just think about it. I was going to put Xenoblade Chronicles against another game, but I was like, no, Nier Automata is just as popular and beloved. And these two games have sold millions of copies. They're extremely influential. They're extremely popular and beloved. Holy crap. Nier Automata, not Replicant. Because I know Replicant, I love it. I think it's the best game out of the three. You know, but I think Xenoblade is going to crush it. So, Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh, yeah. Let's do that poll. Let's do the poll. I'm nervous, man. I'm trembling. Xenoblade Chronicles versus Nier Automata. Some of you will probably betray your beliefs with this contest. So, Xenoblade Chronicles versus Nier Automata. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Start poll. There you have it. Start voting. Damn, man. Holy shit. Look at the poll, man. Xenoblade Chronicles. Ah! What, really? No fans of Nier Automata? Damn. This one is a little bit more uneven. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the most respected video games, RPGs of all time. And Nier Automata, there's even people who don't even consider the game as an RPG. It's an action RPG, hack and slash, but it's got to be the best fan service game ever. Just keep your politics out of this, okay? If you come here and say some fucking feminist bullshit, I'm gonna destroy you. Okay, so what about your arguments? Come on. For the people voting Xenoblade, why do you think Xenoblade is better? Why? Or if you think Automata is better, why? Explain why. Remember, this is gonna be turned into a video on my main channel, and I'm gonna read your arguments, and those arguments are gonna make it to the video. Okay? That's gonna make it fun. Come on, people. Start explaining why. Why do you think one game is better than the other? That's the dumbest argument ever, man. Come on. Nier is an action RPG. Nier Automata also had all of that Phantonium. I'm just saying. But yeah, this is a hard one, man. To me, Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean was no contest. I already knew from long ago. I was like, man, Star Ocean wins. I mean, I just like it a little bit more, right? But here... Oh! Yeah, exactly, Terry. If you don't think of Nier Automata as an action RPG, that's just your opinion, you know. But forget about the genre. Just for the sake of competition, forget about the genre. It's just one game versus the other. Which one do you think is better? Oh man, 40 votes. Xenoblade is winning. 54%. Automata 46%. Okay. Wow. It's more even. Woo. Okay, so here's the first argument. Brian says, Xenoblade has an incredible level of variety, while Nier Automata is really two types of games and has very repetitive design. If it were just for the story, I'd say Nier. Okay, nice argument. I don't disagree with that. Xenoblade, there's a lot to do, and it's pretty much the true RPG, whereas Nier Automata is hack and slash and shoot 'em up, right? That's what you're saying. Okay, I respect that. Peter Lee, what are you talking about? I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say. Okay, Inane Dreams says, I wanted to like Xenoblade, but the gameplay felt like a chore between the unsatisfying combat and voluminous how do I even pronounce that? Voluminous? Okay, so I'm gonna read again. Voluminous. Fuck. Can I skip that word? I can't pronounce it. Voluminous. It's okay. Man, okay. Your words are too intellectual for me. So Inane Dream says, I wanted to like Xenoblade, but the gameplay felt like a chore between the unsatisfying combat and voluminous quantity of uninteresting side quests. Automata was an immensely unique game with... Continue? I'm waiting. I kind of want to say something about the unsatisfying combat. I kind of want to argue against that, but I'll leave my arguments at the end. Continued? Okay, so Automata was an immensely unique game with very fun combat and spectacular soundtrack. Xenoblade had a superior world, but I didn't feel like exploring it as much. That's a very compelling argument, man. Okay, so I'm guessing Nier Automata is a better game for you. Okay, who else? Ilias says, Nier Automata is not one of the best JRPGs. It is one of the best video games in general, with the big meanings such as a deep story, incredible soundtrack, awesome gameplay with a lot of different styles. Okay, good argument. Long, I don't know how to pronounce, Nguyen. Sorry, man. So Long says, in my opinion, Xenoblade Chronicles, any version, is better in terms of lore, character design, development, soundtrack. Nier Automata has the better gameplay, battle mechanics, and control. So, you're saying Xenoblade is the better game, right? Okay. Terry says, I think Nier Automata overstayed its welcome after ending A. Plus the characters I couldn't get into personally. I think the best part of it was the exploration aspect and the music. The combat of Nier Automata is serviceable for a beat 'em up, but it has its flaws. It could have been better. It could have been better in my opinion. Okay. I respect that. Hidden Haki says, I personally enjoy a more linear story, so Xenoblade for me though, I hate games that are too big to wait long to get through Xenoblade. Okay, so which one do you prefer, Hidden Haki? Which is the better game for you, Xenoblade or Nier Automata? How is a beat 'em up an RPG? Well, it's hack and slash. Hack and slash was born, a genre that was born out of beat 'em ups. That's why, at its core, hack and slash games are considered as beat 'em ups. Oh, Xenoblade. Okay, so Xenoblade is the better game for Haki. Okay. Diego says, I think Nier has great gameplay ideas, but it kind of fails short in some of them. Like the shoot 'em up sections are visually cool, but kind of a simple for a shoot 'em up. Okay. Well, Xenoblade still winning. 52 votes. Xenoblade Chronicles 56%. Nier Automata 44%. Wow. I don't know what for some reason I thought Automata will be above Xenoblade in the poll. I can't believe Xenoblade is winning, but I'm happy to see that the numbers are even. It makes it more interesting, right? Way more people have played Xenoblade Chronicles. That's not true. Maybe way more people have played that game here in the chat, but that's not true, man. Nier Automata sold over 5 million copies worldwide. It's the most popular game. It's a more popular game, I'm pretty damn sure. Xenoblade, across all versions, didn't sell 5 million copies. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's why I put them together, because there's just these two fucking colossals, man. These are two colossus fighting each other, you know. Extremely popular, extremely beloved, you know, and man, just felt like a really good match. You thought Nier will win because of the obvious reasons? Well, the definitive version of Xenoblade Chronicles had some interesting costumes that make the girls look great, but yeah, in terms of fan service, Nier Automata destroys it, or destroys almost any other RPG, or most RPGs in existence. One of the best fan service of all time, right? But I'm not using it as an argument. I'm not saying anything right now. I'm just adding to the conversation. I'm not gonna make my arguments until the poll ends, okay? Which is in like 15 minutes. You still got 15 minutes to make your arguments. Nah, I'm not gonna do that poll, Interlocutor, because one of these days, once I get to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm gonna do that video. The Xeno series ranked from worst to best. No, Erick, Nier Automata sold over 8 million copies. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Switch and Steam versions. I think the PS4 version alone sold 5 million copies, so we add the Switch version and, I mean, come on. Anyway. We all know you'll pick Nier. You sure about that? I really like Xenoblade Chronicles, man. The Xenoblade DLC Torna made me like more than Nier. That's cheating, man. That can't be your argument. That's another game. And that's pretty much a prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's another game. Come on. Alright, so Melphis says Xenoblade Chronicles is cool because it's a mix of fantasy and science, and it takes place in a unique universe that is an endless ocean, and the only worlds are two dead giants. Okay, so what you're saying is that Xenoblade Chronicles is better because it has a better world than Nier Automata. Okay. No Face Y'all says Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the rare games where the scope of the game is in a weak spot. It feels like this epic adventure from start to finish and feels like Final Fantasy XII but better. Okay. Okay. So the feeling of adventure, where Nier Automata doesn't have that feeling of adventure to you, okay? Xenoblade Chronicles is more traditional. That's what you're trying to say, right? That it's got this traditional style, this adventure, that you start small and then you go into the world by yourself with your friends and the power of friendship, and I get it. Anthony says, Xenoblade has better world building, soundtrack, character design, but I think Nier is better because the lore is very unique. Diverse gameplay, and one of those rare games that made you almost cry in some moments. Oh, so the story. You're giving priority to the story. Okay, and the lore and the soundtrack. Well, oh no, you said that Xenoblade has better soundtrack. Okay. Yeah, the soundtracks in these two games are... We could make this video about just the soundtracks. Which is the better soundtrack? Xenoblade soundtrack or Nier Automata soundtrack? That's another video. That's... wow. Are we counting the whole Xenoblade series or just the one game? Just one game. I can't edit the poll now. Can I edit it? No, I can't. I should choose, Xenoblade Chronicles 1. It isn't Nier series versus Xenoblade series. Just these two games. This versus this. That's it. That's hard, right? Hard as fuck. I know that. I know. I'm having a hard time deciding. Xenoblade's concept of their world taking place on two titans was pretty unique. Yeah? On two living beings, right? The word diverse makes me sick. They've ruined that word. Yeah, it's pretty damn hard, right? 10 more minutes. It will help if Nier Automata didn't have so many great color schemes. So what you're saying is that Xenoblade Chronicles is a more colorful game. Has better visuals, more appealing graphics, right? Whereas Nier Automata is such a dark game. That's what you're trying to say, Terry? Okay. That's a solid argument on the graphics. The soundtrack is repeating itself. Maybe I probably added a lot of short songs today. Okay, another person defending the sense of adventure, which is really weird. Saying Nier Automata felt like I was just going from point A to point B. Wow, okay. Dude. Nier Automata is supposed to be a bit of an open world and you got these many endings. But okay, if that's how you felt about, that's a weird argument, man. I've never heard anyone saying that Nier Automata was linear. That's weird. Nah, you gotta pick a winner, Felix. You gotta pick a winner, man. That argument, I mean, what does that even mean, man? Both games are very deep themes that don't easy understand. I mean, okay, cool, but which is your pick? You gotta pick one game, man. You're on board with Nier Automata having the superior overall exploration. Okay. You also love having a party. Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles has a party. Nier Automata is just you and 9S. Or 9S and 2B. Or A2 going solo. You know, yeah, you barely have any party members. Except the little machine that serves as the purpose of making conversation. You have more party members, right? Nier Automata was fun to explore, though. They did a good job at encouraging you to roam around without the world feeling too big. I see, yeah, I agree with that, but Terry, you already picked Xenoblade Chronicles, right? That's your pick, right? Nier Automata wins because 2B and A2. The fan service, yeah. Foxhound says the graphics of Nier are probably... Fuck. So Foxhound says the graphics of Nier are probably purposefully... purposefully... Can I read that again? Foxhound says the graphics of Nier are probably purposefully less colorful to reflect its main themes of nihilism, struggling to find purpose, existentialism, etc. It's purposefully bland. So you're defending the graphics, right? Okay. Peter Lee says the open world of Xenoblade at the time was mind-blowing. It's overdone now, but Xenoblade was one of the most mind-blowing JRPG worlds when it came out in terms of size and environment. So another person picking Xenoblade because of the world. Okay. Oh, you never played Xenoblade Chronicles? I thought you were defending Xenoblade Chronicles. So your pick is Nier Automata, okay. Brian says, come to think of it, Xenoblade kind of does that too, though, doesn't it? You do just have the dot on the map, and just like Nier, it's never a straight line. Actually, it is a straight line, I believe. You got this, well, maybe not in the original version, but in the Switch version, you have your GPS telling you where to go and how to get there. I mean, that was destroyed in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but it's still there. Marcos says, I chose Nier. I like the fighting mechanics and destroying the robots. I played Xenoblade 1 and 2. I didn't like the combat, so it wasn't fun trying to avoid combat while exploring. That's a great argument, actually. It's simple, but that's great. I mean, you're right. You want to explore without having to worry about the enemies around you, and sometimes there were just too many enemies and you couldn't explore in peace. Okay, you know, that's a good argument. 5 minutes and the poll ends. 5 minutes can change anything. Xenoblade Chronicles still winning with 55. Nier Automata 45. Everything can change in 5 minutes. I'm not encouraging it to change. I haven't decided. I mean, we'll see. If Xenoblade was turn-based or real-time like Nier, maybe you will choose Xeno over Nier. Oh, okay. Because then you will have random encounters, man. What? Not a fan, though, on games having so many endings and needing to play it multiple times. So, okay. So you prefer Xenoblade because there's only one ending no matter what you do. I mean, you can stick to one ending in Nier Automata. You don't have to do the others. It's like it's mandatory. But okay, you know, I get it. I guess I'm gonna read that again for the video. So Mystery Kid says, I'm not a fan, though, on games having so many endings and needing to play it multiple times. So I think that Nier, you can stick to one ending of the Nier Automata game, and that's it. But yeah, the game kind of encourages you to play it multiple times or to reload certain chapters or save files to get the other ending. But it's just fun. You can just stick to one ending and that's it. But okay, if you choose Xenoblade Chronicles because it has one ending and Nier Automata had like multiple endings, you know, okay, that's your argument. I respect that. You feel like changing your vote, but it wouldn't let me. You guys can't change. I didn't know that. Once you've made your vote, you can't change it. I didn't know. I can't vote because I'm the one doing the poll. Anyway. You don't get the hate for random encounters. It's pretty easy, man. They interrupt exploration, and especially when you're trying to solve a puzzle, it's just disrupting experience. That's why I hate them. Pretty simple. Just a few more minutes. Yeah. Don't allow vote changes. People don't need to be wishy-washy. I don't even know how to allow them or enable them or disable them. I don't know how to do that. The only option is end poll. Xenoblade Chronicles versus Nier Automata. Open world JRPG and grinding is more fun. You have two semi-open world in both games, and you grind in both of them. What's that supposed to mean? What's your pick, man? You chose Nier against Xenoblade 1 and 2, but Xenoblade 3 was a masterpiece. Okay. Well, too bad. This is Xenoblade Chronicle 1 versus Nier Automata, not the series versus... Can't believe so many people are confusing this. It's just one game versus one game, not a series versus another one. Just a few more minutes, and that's it. Anybody else? 1 minute, and the poll ends. I don't think Nier Automata is gonna win at this point. Unless like 10 people join and vote for Automata. I think it's almost safe to say that Xenoblade Chronicles 1, not the series, wins. Right? If this was Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for fan service, huh? That'll be more interesting. Come on, guys, one more vote. I want to see 70 votes. Some random guy who just joined, vote. You voted the wrong game? Well, that's it. I'm gonna end the poll right now. And that's it, everybody. The poll has spoken. Xenoblade Chronicles, 55%. Nier Automata, 45%. So according to 70 people, Xenoblade Chronicles is the better game. Okay, so I'm gonna have to choose my pick now. Yes, I guess it was a bit predictable, but believe it or not, I'm choosing Nier Automata. Again, I'm not choosing this game because it lost, but because I think the story was much more impactful for me. I think the story in Xenoblade Chronicles is more about the lore and the world building, which is why a lot of people made an argument defending the world. And I get that, and I respect that. In terms of world building, it does have better world building than Nier Automata. But in terms of story, I tend to prefer dark stories. I tend to prefer more adult characters with adult situations. I'm not saying Xenoblade Chronicles isn't dark. It certainly has its adult stuff and dark stuff, but it's also about the feeling of adventure, the charismatic power of friendship, and forming a party and fighting the gods and stuff like that. Whereas Nier Automata is way more psychological, and it could have worked better as a movie or maybe as some series. And apart from that, they gave me this hack and slash combat, this action RPG style, these shoot 'em up stages, and I love that. But to the person saying that the combat in Xenoblade Chronicles wasn't compelling or satisfying, I disagree. It's very satisfying, no matter the difficulty you're playing. I mean, it's so much fun to move around your characters, and make choices as if you were playing a turn-based RPG, but in real time. So it's still an action RPG, right? But it's more technical than Nier Automata, and Nier Automata isn't just your average hack and slash. Yes, it's fast-paced, it's chaotic, and that's my type of action RPG. I don't really like technical action RPGs, a la Souls, for example. Not really a fan of those. So the hack and slash combat in Automata was more of my preferred style for action games. But I also believe it's a pretty difficult game. Sure, it's not as difficult as other action RPGs out there, but it can kick your ass if you underestimate it. Nier Automata is one of those games a lot of people underestimated and got their asses kicked. But I'm just saying that in terms of combat, I think I prefer... Well, the Xenoblade Chronicles is more creative. I'll give it that. But I think it's a tie. I can't choose. If I was just comparing the combat, I can't choose. I just love both combat systems equally. But still, Automata wins because despite... I think the story and characters are far more relatable to me personally and far more interesting, and they get much better development and more psychological and philosophical situations than in Xenoblade. Like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles has a good cast of characters and good story, but the story focuses more on the world and the universe it takes place in. Whereas Automata, it also focuses on the world and the tragedy of it and the plot twist, that we get to see halfway through the game when you come to realize what's really going on and what the hell have you been fighting for all this time. It's just more tragic and it's darker, and I tend to prefer stories like that. Of course, in fan service it beats it, there's no argument in there. No argument. The outfits in the Switch version of Xenoblade Chronicles are great. The girls are pretty easy to look at, but Nier Automata is one of the kings of fan service in video game history. It just doesn't compete. Graphics, I get what people were saying, that the graphics in Xenoblade Chronicles are more colorful, more compelling, more appealing, but I still prefer the darkness and gothic style of Nier Automata. It's just beautiful, more unique, and more conceptual. That's what I'm trying to say, and I think I tend to give preference to that. And, well, finally the soundtrack. That's another one that's kind of hard to choose. They're very different. Xenoblade Chronicles has this weird variety in genres mixed in together, whereas Automata is just this classic style. It's just like one or two genres in Nier Automata, right? And that's the entire game. And it's freaking beautiful. It's a masterpiece. I don't think I will ever be able to decide between each soundtrack, but I guess I am a little bit more leaning towards the Automata style of music, the Keiichi Okabe type of music, because it just blends in so well with the game and the story and the universe itself. So just for a little bit, I think I like the music a little bit more in Automata, but then the Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack is a banger. So, once again, just like in the previous video, it was very hard for me to choose. These two games are just as fantastic. It's hard to choose which one is really the king, but I'm sticking to my guns. I think I like Nier Automata just a little bit more. That's all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time. I'm still here. That's just for the video. Damn! One of these days, if we continue doing this, maybe 1 or 2 versus contests per Q&A. One of these days I'm gonna choose one that for me, one game is gonna win by a landslide, but I'm gonna try not to make it obvious. I'm gonna hide it. Like at the end it's gonna be like this wins by a landslide. It's superior to this other in everything. I kinda wanna do that because today it was just these games are like on the same level. Like if this was a tier list, you know, all of these will be on the A. Definitely. On a tier list, this is an A. Arise is an A. Star Ocean is also an A. Maybe A plus for me. And these two are the same, like an A. Like these two are. If we compare these 4 games, I guess it will be like this from worst to best. Check this out. Like this. Like from right to left. Or is it left to right for some of you? Yeah. So Nier Automata is number 1 for me. Xenoblade Chronicles number 2. Star Ocean number 3. Tales of Arise number 4. Tales of Arise is the worst. But I still think it's a phenomenal game. Yeah, man. Yeah, right? Man, it's just the difference between these two is... Holy crap. Holy crap, man. That was a blast, guys. Should do Final Fantasy versus Dragon Quest. No, that's kind of cliche. I'm trying to make things a little bit more interesting and original. You know, comparing entire series right now, nah. I want to go by individual games. It's just more interesting. And harder to choose, right? It's just harder to choose for people. Harder, more engaging, more interesting. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people are leaving already because, yeah, it's over. So that's it, guys. I'll consider some of your options for the next one. I had a blast. That's it. Hope you enjoy the videos. I will upload both videos on my main channel, edited with gameplay footage. And with your arguments, that's gonna make it more interesting so people can comment and make their own arguments in the comments or whatever. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching, and thanks for participating in the in both polls for both videos. See you next time.